Hello and welcome to the Franchise Tag Preview Show for Week 14. I am joined by Adam, as always, to go through all the fixtures for later today. Thanks for joining me again, Adam. Who has frozen? I've lost him. Okay. Are you still there, Adam? We got
Hello.
you. Few technical difficulties here. Are you with me, Adam? Are you there?
I am.
Good. Okay. We're going to go straight on to the we'll talk a little bit about the first fixture that we've already had, Pittsburgh versus Minnesota. Did you catch any of it?
I saw a little bit of it. It was a bit mental, really, wasn't it? Going 29-0 up and then them trying to come back. But yeah, it was. Chase Claypool has not done himself any favors. Let's put it that way.
Seems to be a classic Pittsburgh Steeler thing to have a bit of a disruptive wide receiver that's very talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a real good game. I was rooting for the Steelers, but they didn't quite make it on that last play of the game. But hey ho. So we move on to this week's fixtures. First up on my list is the Baltimore Ravens against the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, it's a bit of a. Don't know about this one. It's quite a close one. They're both not really performing that great. I'm going to go for the Browns purely because they've had 3 weeks to prepare for this fixture. Really, I mean, it's like they played them, then they had the bye, and now they've got this one. I do like Austin Hooper over 3.5 receptions. He's got to pass it to someone. It's like there's all the other tight ends are out, so I think that Hooper will get a lot of action, but. Yeah, with Marlon Humphrey out for the Ravens, that's a massive loss in the defense. So I'm going to go for the Browns.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Ravens. Although they have got a beat up secondary, they've lost both their key cornerbacks. I think when you look at Cleveland's offense now, it's more run heavy. So I'm not overly scared about the deep threats. Is Jarvis Landry fully fit? Is he still carrying a knock? I don't know, because for me now they've not got Odell Beckham Jr. That's their only real threat when it comes to wide receiver. So I just think Baltimore have got more of the complete package at the moment in terms of offense and defense. So I'm going to stick with the Ravens. They need to win this one, otherwise that division becomes very close.
It's must win for both, really, isn't it? I mean,
you've got to say it's must win. Like I say, it's a divisional game, so it'll count to the matchup. The Ravens are 8-4, and the Browns are 6-6. So, and everybody in between. The Browns are actually bottom of the division at the moment. So, yeah, it is must win, and it counts towards the matchup to get through. So, I think Lamar Jackson will get it done. Next game up is the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, this is one I sort of looked at. I just couldn't really find anything to look at. I mean, the Jags seem to be in a bit of disarray at the moment. Everything that's going on with Urban Meyer and the coaching staff. I think the Titans will win it reasonably comfortably, to be honest. But there's nothing in this game to bet on really, other because the spread is so high in the Titans' favor, and their players. They've lost so many players. It's like I know they've got Julio Jones back, but he's coming back off an injury. And yeah, I think the Titans will win it, but it's not an exciting one, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I was a bit 50-50 with this fixture due to the fact the Titans have lost a lot of players, but they're just a better organization. Even when I doubted them when they lost Derrick Henry, and all their wide receivers, they still managed to get the job done. And they're still in a comfortable place in the race. So I think it's just a case of going through the motions in this one and trying to get some people fit and healthy for the playoffs. So, yeah, I think Tennessee will get it done. I haven't seen enough from the Jags in every week that I've watched them to think that they could produce something a bit more like I have seen in like I say, like the Detroit Lions, but they're playing badly, but you see glimpses of them being able to beat people. I don't see that from the Jags yet. Next game up is going to be an interesting one. It's the Las Vegas Raiders against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I think to me, I think the Chiefs, if you look at the bet that I've put out, I've included Tyreek Hill, anytime touchdown, 10 to 11. I think the Raiders, the one thing I noticed with the Raiders is that the amount of passing yards that they give up, especially away from home, is very high. So I think that Hill is a very good shout to be put in any accumulator. One thing I would say, if you want a slightly bigger price, Darren Waller's out again. So Foster Moreau is going to be there. He might see some action. He's 11 to 4 anytime, so he might get there. But really, I just think the Raiders are doing what the Raiders always do, which is they're going to try and become an 8-8 team, despite the fact there's 17 games. Yeah, I think the Chiefs will just be too strong for them. Defensively, they've improved a lot. And offensively, they're not quite there yet, but they're getting there.
Yeah, I agree. I think in terms of teams that are on at the roll at the minute, they've got the Chiefs have had a win streak of 5 games. The only other 2 teams to be able to be in this form at the moment are the Dolphins and the Patriots. So they're one of the hot teams at the moment. And I just think getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire back is really big for them. Although he's not actually producing massive numbers, it just opens up more of the field, knowing that they have got a little bit of a run game. You know, he's going to get you sort of 50, 60, 70 yards a game, but he just looks to add a bit more threat to them. They look a bit more dynamic when he's in there. And as you say, the Raiders just seem to have lost the plot a little bit. We don't know which Raiders are going to turn up each week. And I'm confident the Chiefs are on a roll. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with the Chiefs in this one as well. Next up is the New Orleans Saints versus the New York Jets.
Yeah, I think the Jets are being the Jets, aren't they? You know, it's nothing new here. It's not we're not recreating the wheel on this one. The Saints, I think, will win this relatively easily. Jets are ranked 29th against the run. Kamara's back. Do you need to say any more? Taysom Hill is going to be there, another runner. Ingram is meant to be there. I think this is not going to be particularly hard work for the Saints. I know they're away, and the Jets have. I was surprised, actually. I thought the Jets' defense would have improved a little bit more than what it has, given that Salah's there, but it's just not. And at the moment, I think the Saints are just going to be too strong for them.
Yeah, fully agree with everything you said there. Plus the fact that their defense is still one of the top ranked defenses. I think it is the top ranked defense against wide receivers, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that just screams Zach Wilson interceptions to me. I think if he's going up against the secondary and their front seven is talented as well, it could cause him some problems. As you said, Kamara's back. Taysom Hill adds a bit of dynamic to their offense. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with the Saints in this one. I think they take it as well. Next up's an interesting one for the division. It's the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington football team.
It is this is a really tight game, this one. I've been pretty much against Washington every single time that they've won. So I think it'll be really, I do think it'll be very close. Big problem for the Cowboys is Tony Pollard being out. That's a massive loss for them. He's been doing really well. So they're going to have to rely on Zeke a bit more, and he's kind of not showing it quite as much as what he did in the past. I also think that because of that, and the fact that the Washington front seven are pretty decent, they're good against the run. So the Cowboys are going to have to air it out a lot more. You know, you've got CeeDee Lamb, or Amari Cooper as well. I mean, Amari Cooper's 15-8 anytime touchdown. That's not a bad price for Amari Cooper. But I'm going to go for Washington in this one. I think that defense is just going to be strong enough to stop them. And you can get plus 4.5 at 10 to 11 if you feel like you want a little bit of extra security on that one. So, yeah, I think Washington for this one.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at the games that Washington have got left, they'll be looking at this fixture and thinking, we've got this division wrapped up because they've got to play the Cowboys today and again, and then they've got to play the Eagles twice, and then the Giants. So they're finishing with all the divisional games, all very winnable games, and that would put you cleanly in the playoffs. So they're at home. I don't know. I think it all points in Washington's favor, but I think Dallas have, over the course of the whole season so far, Dallas have looked better. This is a tough one for me to call. I think Dallas might take this one. I don't know why, but I've got a feeling that they might take it. Could be an interesting division by the end of the year.
It will be really interesting because obviously, that, like you say, Washington have got so many games against other divisional rivals. I mean, whoever scheduled that is mental. But it will be really interesting. I think that's why the +4.5 appeals for the Washington one, because I think it could be a field goals difference either way.
Next up is the Atlanta Falcons versus the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, it's a bit of a it's two teams that are kind of struggling a little bit. I've gone for the Falcons purely because I think that their offense just has that little bit more at the moment. I mean, with the Panthers, Joe Brady's been fired. I mean, that's going to be a bit interesting to see what happens there. Obviously, McCaffrey's not there and he's out for the rest of the season. I still think Hubbard is a good running back, and obviously Cam Newton's there, so the running game should be okay. But Newton has shown how rusty he is when it comes to the passing game. And I don't know, I feel like the Falcons might have that bit more. They're going to have Patterson out there as well. And, the guy just scores every blimmin', all the time. It's ridiculous. I mean, he's like 11 to 10 anytime touchdown. I think that's a good one. I also like the overs. They're only saying 41 points. I could see the Falcons getting a good 20-25 points out of this, and I could see the Panthers doing all right as well. But it's just not a game to really get involved in that much, to be honest.
I was torn with this one as well, but I was leaning towards the Panthers in this one. You said at the top of this for this one for you that you didn't like the Carolina's offense as opposed to the Falcons. I'm on the other side of the fence with that. I just think the Panthers have a few more tricks up their sleeve when it comes to offense, whereas the Falcons have got Kyle Pitts and Cordarrelle Patterson, and that's it. And we've seen when Pitts gets marked out of the game, they don't produce a lot. They've got no downfield threats, really. I just think Cam Newton needs a bounce back week. I think when there's a player or a team that needs to come back and prove themselves, it always makes them a little bit more dangerous. And he's at home as well. For me, I'm going to stick with the Panthers. I still think they're the more talented team in this game, and they've got some very nice pieces on defense as well. So, whereas the Falcons have got AJ Terrell, and that's it. They've got a cornerback, and that's it. So, I'm going to stick with the Panthers. So we move on to our last game of the early fixtures, and that's the Seattle Seahawks versus the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting one. The Texans have shown that they can be an okay defense at times, but I really do feel that the Seahawks are going to push on now. I feel like Russell Wilson has finally got back into match fitness. He's been finding Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf a lot more. The Texans have always struggled against the tight end. All season they've struggled against the tight end. And I know that Gerald Everett had a couple of drops last week, but he is 5-2 anytime, and Jeff Swaim as well at 3-1 anytime. So I think there are a couple of bets that are like, a little bit bigger prices. I'm going to go for the Seahawks just because I think they need to do something here. They need to keep it going, and they've got that little bit of momentum now after beating the 49ers. So I think for this one, I'll go for the Seahawks.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I said previously it's going to take Russell Wilson a couple of games to get back into being able to throw the ball back again and get back into sort of NFL reads as well. And the game he decided to do, prove himself and show it, was against a team that's capable. He's not gone out there and beat a Jacksonville or a Detroit or something like that. He's beat the 49ers. So I think that's a big step in the right direction when you're going up against the Texans in your next fixture. So he's going to have a lot of confidence, and we know they're a capable organisation of winning on their day. It hasn't quite gone right for them. Whereas the Texans, for me, again, they're another team that I haven't seen enough out of them to say they could go out and beat a team like the Seahawks when the Seahawks are looking better. So yeah, for me, I'm going to stick with the Seahawks in this game. I think they've got a few running back issues.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I'm not sure I think Alex Collins is meant to be playing today. But yeah, I mean, they do have a few issues. But then the Texans are one of the worst teams against the run, so they might get away with it because of that.
And then we move on to our next fixture, which is the Detroit Lions at the Denver Broncos. Can Detroit get another win?
Well, Detroit they've got a load of players out, haven't they? They've had COVID there. I think a lot of them have had flu as well. Hawkinson, I think, is out. DeAndre Swift, it looks like, could be going on to the IR by the sound of it. So that's good news for Freddie in the fantasy league. He'll be happy with that. So yeah, no, I don't think they can. They're ranked 28th against the run. Javonte Williams last week showed how good he can be. It's 8-13 is short, but put it in your accumulators. He's one of the ones that I included in mine that's been put out. Denver at home. I think they'll win this relatively easily, but I don't think it's going to be a particularly exciting or high-scoring game. It's going to be a bit of a bore fest, I think.
Yeah, Denver could probably win it with just kicking field goals. You know, Mile High Stadium, that seems to be a big thing, just kicking 60-yard field goals. But yeah, I think Denver have got the better team, haven't they? That offense, they've got some great pieces, and their defense has proved that it wasn't all Von Miller. And Patrick Surtain is having a lovely season. So yeah, I still think Denver's a strong organization. They just need to get the quarterback right. But they've got a steady quarterback, and I think steady quarterback with the weapons that you've got wins against the Lions quite comfortably, a beat up Lions as well. So yeah, I'm going to stick with Denver winning this one quite comfortably. Next game up is the New York Giants at the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, this was a really difficult one. I was going through it, and it's like both teams are awful against the run. They really are. So everything about it was like, you got to go for Saquon Barkley. You got to go for Saquon Barkley. It's like he's 15-8 anytime. It's a massive price for Saquon Barkley, but it's because he's been out so much and just not really done a lot this season. In the end, I think Eckler will score for the Chargers as well. So I put Eckler in as well. I think the Chargers, even without Keenan Allen, will just about have enough. I think it's going to be very close. But the Giants haven't really got a lot to play for. I mean, I know they can technically still get in, but it's a real struggle for them at the moment. Daniel Jones is out. Is it Jake Fromm? Is he going to be playing?
Well, I was really excited at the fact that we'd said that Jake Fromm was going to potentially start. I watched him quite a bit at college. I really liked him at college. He's a very, very good college quarterback. Not very mobile, doesn't run ever. I think he recorded minus yardage every year in his college career, and that was from kneeling the ball down, I reckon, every time. But he's very, very capable. He was at Georgia. He won the SEC championship game there and stuff like that. So, he's capable. But I've heard that Glennon has passed concussion protocol. Why not just play From? What have we got to lose? He's,
Yeah.
But,
I actually feel like I kind of feel like I'd be more confident if you did play From, because the problem is that we know what we're getting with Glennon, and you're not getting a lot with Glennon. So yeah, I've gone for the Chargers in this one, but I think it will be close, and hopefully From does play, because it'd be nice to see him, just to see what he can do.
Yeah. If From starts, I'm going for the win for the Giants, just because I reckon he's got a bit about him that might just have one of those one-off wins that you just see because something's changed, like when Gardner Minshew comes in, wherever he's at, that factor. But the Chargers are the better team. They should win this. They should win it comfortably as well. I know they're missing some pieces, but they are easily the better team. But I'm going to stick with the Giants just because I have to stay faithful. We have got some good players. The defense does show up sometimes, and when it does, it's good. So yeah, the Chargers like to have the Raiders syndrome and throw their season away, and I'm hoping this is one of the fixtures. So I'm going to go with the Giants win by 3. So the next game up is the San Francisco 49ers against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, this could be quite an interesting one. I think it'd be quite an exciting game, this one. Both teams are sort of hovering around the wild card spots. I think myself, I'm going to go for the Bengals just because I think they're at home and I just always go for the Bengals. It seems to be something I've been doing all season, so why stop now? It's really difficult. I was looking at potential bets for it and I was going, well, he could score a touchdown, he could score a touchdown, he could score they've got so many players. Mixon, I think, has got a good shout. Higgins and Boyd, I think, have both got a good shout purely because Chase is constantly getting double marked all the time and it's just getting marked out the game. So I think that these two guys have got a strong chance. Elijah Mitchell is missing for the 49ers. This is going to be a problem for them. So they've got Jeff Wilson and is it Jermichael Hasty? Yeah. They're going to be the main running game. I think Jimmy G is going to have to throw it a bit more this game. So George Kittle over 66.5 yards receiving, and also anytime touchdown 11-8. He nearly got in. He was the one who just missed out on my bet. So I think he's going to see a lot of action today. But I'm going to go for the Bengals just because I think they're at home. They've got a lot of offensive weapons, and also that defense isn't doing too bad.
I agree with that one as well. San Francisco 49ers, Deebo Samuel's coming back, isn't he?
So he's got a groin strain, from what I can gather. They've said that he's a game time decision and that he probably will play. I suppose they're in a position where they need to win, so they're probably going to risk him. But how successful that's going to be, I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a concern for me. Although George Kittle is a fantastic receiver, Deebo Samuel has been your downfield 75-yard touchdown threat every single week, and I think if you take that out of the equation, you're just moving the ball a bit too slow. And I like the Bengals. They've still got all of their receivers. I think all three of them have got the potential to have a big game on their day. So as you said, Joe Mixon's having a nice little season as well. And the Bengals need to find a bit of momentum again. And I think this is a game they can maybe try and stamp their authority in and prove that they can go up against the big boys, because the 49ers are still classed as one of those big teams. So I'm going to stick with the Bengals as well in this one at home for that reason as well. We move on to what's probably the most anticipated game of the weekend, and that is the Buffalo Bills against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, this is the best pass rush going up against the best O-line as well. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. I think the Bucs are going to win it. They're undefeated at home. They've looked pretty strong at home. I can see Fournette doing pretty well again. It's like he seems to have picked up this season. It's like it was the playoff run last year, but definitely like throughout the season this year, Fournette has shown a lot. I know that he's 10 to 11 over 58.5 yards rushing. I can see that happening pretty easily, especially if the Bucs get off to a fast start, which I could imagine they will, as they normally do. The Bills have no run game. It's awful. And so because of that, and I think that the Bucs might get off to that fast start, I can see like Diggs at 13 to 10 anytime touchdown isn't a bad shout. But But yeah, the Bills, I don't know. They're in a real problem at the moment. They need to start winning games and winning games fast in order to get back that division against the Patriots. And it's becoming a bit of an issue for them. They really need to get going. And I think that they're sort of, I think they're going to bottom out. I think this is going to be the down part, and then they'll start getting better after this game because I just think the Bucs are too strong.
Yeah, the Bucs are really, really strong, but they have lost games this year.
Not at home, they haven't.
This is probably a topic more for the main show, but why the Bills haven't addressed their run game for the last 2 years, I will never understand. Especially last week, if you're the Bills, the Packers, and the Patriots, and you play in cold weather come this time of the year, why would you not boost your run game? So if at least this week they're going to be playing in a bit warmer weather, which means they don't need to run the ball. They can just throw it.
I think in fairness to them, I think they probably thought they had because they bought in Singletary, they bought in Zach, so they have drafted a couple of running backs and thought that they had, and it just hasn't worked out.
Well, they had Singletary and Moss last year, and neither of them got it going, and it proved that when they got down to the winter months, which is when they sort of tailed off. So I feel like they needed to address it with a veteran that was really good. I really wanted them to take Marlon Mack, but hey ho, what do I know? Yeah, the Buccaneers are the better team. They look good. They've got all the weapons. Tom Brady doesn't lose to the Bills. He only lost 3 times to the Bills in his whole career?
Yeah, I think so. Isn't it like 32-3 or something? Yeah.
So he'll want to continue that, won't he? There's still that rivalry, I think, in his mind that it's the Bills and we beat the Bills. So there is that there. I've just got a feeling that the Bills might win this one. I don't know why, because everything's pointing against them to the Bucs to win this, but it's one of them where I've got a feeling that's where the upset is. I'm gonna lock them in as well. I'm gonna be bold and say I think the Bills win this one. They bounce back very in big style, and it's a big talking point. But I don't know why I'm saying it, because the Buccaneers are super impressive. So the last of the late fixtures is the Chicago Bears against your Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I think, at home at Lambeau against the Bears, I think they're going to be pretty fired up. I think the Packers will win it. No, I wouldn't say mega easily, but I think they'll win it relatively easily. The Bears are 23rd against the run. So, they struggle against that. You've got Aaron Jones at 5-6, and probably more importantly, AJ Dillon at 8-5, who's been showing what he can do this year. I think the Bears are. Justin Fields is meant to be back for this game, which and David Montgomery is meant to be fit as well. I think it shows that they're going to be pushing that run game quite a lot. And the Packers defense has actually been pretty decent. I think they're 8th against the run, 9th against the pass, so they're looking pretty good. I think the Packers will win it relatively easily.
Yeah, I think the Packers will win quite comfortably. It's not a game they're going to go into thinking, we're just playing, an underrated team. I'll say underrated. It's the Bears. Whether the Bears are 0-16 or whatever, they're going into that game wanting to win it and win it big. Aaron Rodgers will be well up for this one.
Yeah.
It's a shame because I like Justin Fields and I'd like him to start sort of producing the goods and showing people that he can be a franchise quarterback, but this isn't going to be the game for him to do it against. No. I'm going to stick with the Packers. I think they're far too strong still for me. One of the top contenders in the NFL. So if anybody wants to stay up for the late game, it's a good game to stay up for if you want to do it. It's the LA Rams against the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one, this one, because they've both done all right, but the Rams have struggled in recent weeks. I know they got a good win against the Jags, but it's the Jags. So but before then, against anyone any good, they've struggled, and I'm not 100% sure if Matt Stafford is completely fit. I mean, he's shown that he's got a few. I think he's had a few bumps and bruises and other stuff that's been a problem for him. Also, I think they're saying that Henderson is not going to play. I'm not sure if he's going to play or not, but I think that's going to be a bad thing if he's not. I think, Kyler Murray is back. DeAndre Hopkins is back for the Cardinals. They look good without them. So you can imagine how much better they are now with them. I think the Cardinals will win it. It'll be a good game to watch. And I think it'll be an interesting game to watch, but I think the Cardinals for me.
It's two really good defenses as well, and two very explosive offenses. Do you think it's going to be a high-scoring game or not?
I probably not. I think the defenses will probably limit the score down a little bit. I mean, I could see it being sort of like a 45, that kind of range. I think points wise in that game. I don't think you're going to get a. I can't see both teams hitting 30 points or anything like that. It's not going to be massive, but it'll be, like I say, it'll be a really interesting one, just purely because of the quality defenses and the explosive offenses. But I think them defenses normally they win out in the end.
It's two young, bold head coaches as well that are willing to make some big decisions. So this could go down, I think, to turnovers. I think it could be that close. So yeah, this could be I might stay up and watch this one. I really like the Rams. They haven't produced the goods, but Cardinals again have managed to prove me wrong all year. So I'm slowly getting onto the bandwagon with them because they are proving me wrong, which is good. I like that. I just can't call this game.
I just think when it comes to the Rams, the loss of Robert Woods is really showing now. I think that's a massive.
OBJ seems to have stepped up though now.
He has a little bit. He has stepped up a bit, but I think that Robert Woods is such a threat that was what was opening up Cooper Kupp so much. And I just feel like people are more likely to keep double marking Cooper Kupp, and that's going to be a problem, I think, for them.
I'm not. I don't see that as a weakness. Van Jefferson and OBJ last couple of weeks have managed to take advantage of that.
You got to pick one of them. That's how this works.
I am going to stick with Rams. I'm going to go with the Rams. I'm going to go with the Rams. Sheerly because I've got a bit of a soft spot for them. That's the only reason. I think it is evenly split. I've got a soft spot for the Rams, so I'm sticking with them. Oh, hello. What we got? Oh, it's Freddie. Freddie's piped up. I'm sorry, I went a bit quiet then. I was just reading what came in there. Freddie seems to have piped up. I thought he wasn't able to join us.
He's upset that we took the mickey out of Chase Claypool at the beginning. That's all.
Oh, no, he's yeah. Well, surely he's on our side with that. Surely he understands that. Who knows? But either way, that's it. That's all the games this week. Adam, you've got a big bet for us. Have you already put one out?
Yeah, I put one out. Tyreek Hill, Javonte Williams, and Austin Eckler. So it's around 9-2 for the treble. There are some bigger prices out there for certain things. Like I said, Amari Cooper, 15-8, I think is a decent shout. George Kittle, I think will have a big game. So there's like 11-8 there. And just for you, Saquon Barkley. I mean, he's got to do something at some point, hasn't he? 15-8 anytime against the second worst defense against the run. It's got to happen, surely.
If it doesn't, then trade him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It could end up getting to that point.
Well, thanks for joining us, and best of luck to everybody's teams this week. It is real hotting up, closing in on the playoffs. Main show will be back on Tuesday. So please tune into that when that comes out. Fantasy show is in the last week, so that'd be interesting if you guys want to tune into that as well. That's on Thursday. But till then, guys, thanks for joining, and best of luck this week.